Last half hour of Saturday, January 27th. This is the Sci-Fi Center Live. This is a semi-overnighter. What is a semi-overnighter? Well, it's a little bit between the Midnight Express that we do on a nightly basis and the overnighters that we do every Saturday. So quick, but not too quick, but not a complete like 2 or 3 hour show like we usually do on Saturday nights, which is what we will be doing tonight. So, still the same premise. I will be shepherding you from what was Friday, January 27th into Saturday, January 27th. And then I'll be back like 12 or whatever, 18 hours later to do the same thing as we guide you into what is going to be a championship Sunday. San Francisco 49ers going up against Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I personally am expecting blowouts on both of those games. I just don't see any reason why the home team is not going to win by at least 10 points in each game. Could be wrong. I am in Vegas, but I am not a prognosticator, so take that for what it is. So let's see. Is this thing working? Am I broadcasting? Let me make sure I'm broadcasting because StreamYard was acting crazy earlier this evening while I was getting this show set up. So let's see. Okay, it is working. I wonder if it sent out the little messaging thing with Jamie because it doesn't say. Yeah, it should be there. All right. So, okay, see, it's starting. This is, dude, whatever they did in the attempt to try to improve StreamYards, they really just jammed it up. Like a lot of the share functions are all screwed up now. Even Enoch is having issues with it. Every time we try to share a screen, it used to be a one-step process, and bam, we had whatever we wanted on the screen. And now we got to do like 2 or 3 different steps. And when it sends out the notifications, it's not sending them out, or it sends them out with a delay, and then it feeds you guys into the chat like with a delay, which kind of goofy. And I'm always wondering, is it me? Am I fucking to show up? But apparently it's not. So I'm starting to see you guys come through. So, main topics tonight. Obviously, we have Royal Rumbles happening tomorrow. I'm not as excited about it's on a Saturday, which is weird. I am never gonna get used to Royal Rumble being on a Saturday. I know why they do it because Peacock does not want any. I think one of the games. I think one of the actual Sunday night game or whatever. I'm pretty sure that is on NBC, and Peacock doesn't want anything. They figure it's a mirror demographic. They don't want anything interfering with that demographic. So if the game is on NBC, Peacock owns NBC. Peacock is airing the Royal Rumble, so they're putting it on a Saturday. So it's just weird. Not as excited about the Royal Rumble. I haven't been excited for a Royal Rumble in about 20 years, but this one, at least of all, because I think it's going to be one of the most predictable Royal Rumbles in a long time. To me, it's either Sami Zayn's going to win, Cody's going to win, or Kevin Owens is going to win. I mean, the way they made this bloodline, how you doing, guys? The way they made this bloodline storyline, the problem with the length of it and just the WWE in general is it's become predictable to the point where unless there's a surprise entrant, it's not going to make any sense. And they've been building up, to this WrestleMania match where Cody was brought in basically to win the title. The bloodline storyline is it's over 2 years long. It's almost 3 years long. They've held those belts. The Usos and Roman Reigns have held those belts to the point where they no longer mean anything to me. They're rarely defended in any competition to where you could really be surprised at who wins. The only time I see them losing them would be at WrestleMania. But by that time, we're 3 years into a storyline that at best had 9 months into it. And adding Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn to it, may have added some flavor to it, but not enough to really circumvent um, a storyline that has lasted way too long. So yeah, but we'll get into a little bit more detail. Okay, last night I decided to stream a game on Twitch. One of my viewers dropped a $10 gift subs, Twitch memberships. Couldn't believe he spent $50 on my stream. Hey, that's pretty good, man. I mean, I'm not even at that level. But yeah, if you're putting out a good product, one of the best ways people can show you how much they believe and are happy with your product is by monetary. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, you have a fan there. I always try when it's other people's streams or when it's other people's shows, when I can, whether I even if I don't agree with their content all the time, I try to support their network. I mean, I think it's important to appreciate and support that there's a conversation even being had. So that's good that you got somebody to support you in that. So that's awesome. The other topic I was going to discuss is, like, I know we've been discussing a lot of music lately, and mainly Metallica, and whether not whether discussing the fact that Injustice for All is their best release. But there are other albums out there that came out during the 80s. One of the greatest albums of all time, I think, is Appetite for Destruction. Okay, so Dark Scipio's got, before I say hi to the crowd, this is something we generally don't get into too many political issues on this show because it's easy to alienate a lot of people, and this is not my network per se, even though it is broadcast on the Sci-Fi Center, even more so because everybody has the right to have their own political opinion. But I am going to answer this. William, I want to ask you about the black cops who beat a brother, Tyrone Nichols, to death. They did what they did that when they know what black men have suffered at the hands of white cops. Why would they do that? All right. So first thing I'm going to tell you, I am a big supporter of police and what they do. And, for the percentage of things like the George Floyds and the Rodney Kings and the things that make the news, I personally know I've served in military with people who are cops in their main routine, and I know what they go through. I know that the vast majority of the cops are good people. These are bad cops, period. All right. Judging on what I saw, and like I said, these men have a right to a fair trial, but judging from what I saw in that video, these men should probably serve similar sentences if found guilty as George Floyd's perpetrators that are serving 20 to 40 years. As far as them being black and doing this, it would appear that they got caught up in a culture that zeroes in on certain types of people as being predisposed to crime. Now you're going to say, well, they're black. How'd they do that? A lot of black folks come from inner cities where there's, and a lot of people in general come from inner cities where people of their own ethnic group are the people that, are perpetuating crime within their immediate surroundings. So if you are perpetuating something like that, and then you join the police force and you have people, indoctrinating you into a culture and giving you bad training, it really doesn't matter what color you are at that point. Once you have a predisposition to a certain group of people, whether it be by geography or color or culture or anything else, it really doesn't matter at that point. And like I said, the vast majority of cops are people that will carry out the law with no problem. If I have an issue, I have no problem with picking up this phone and calling for a cop, and that cop's going to come put his life in danger, not even knowing what he's stepping into or what I have happening here. But these are bad cops. I mean, it's just, period. These are bad cops. This is something where policies need to be in place that affect policing across the board. to help correct it. Because no matter how many good cops you have out there, and like I said, the vast majority of them are good, people are not going to report on the plane landing safely. They're reporting on the plane crash. And in situations where a plane or a police officer, the margin for error isn't there. You when these things happen, they have to be handled, and the response has to be absolute against the perpetrators. And what I'm seeing as I'm watching, from the Memphis police, the Memphis Assembly Councilman, and the Memphis city government, so far it is being handled the way you would want good cops to handle bad cops when this happens. So I don't know if this particular thing is a race issue, more than it is a culture issue. And you can be black and alienate a culture. Especially if you see it as an us versus them type of mentality, which is something even in the Army. When you go through training to keep that mentality at bay, because you're part of an organization, and anybody outside of that organization, if you're not properly trained, can become the enemy. And with the Army, you're all over the world, where not everybody in that population is the enemy. Iraq was a prime example. Hell, even go back to Vietnam. In Vietnam, there was a culture of us versus them, even versus the South Vietnamese, that were supposed to be our allies. If improper training seeps in and that mentality is allowed to settle in, then it becomes an us versus them thing. And when the training is done right, that just doesn't happen. When the training is done right, you are part of the surroundings you are protecting. It's not an us versus them. You are with them. Even in a military situation, you are working with them. You're getting intel from them. You are protecting them. It is not, you are not supposed to have the mentality of an invader or an occupier in that sense. And then when you're talking about policing, like I said, I can just tell you right now, without knowing anything from what I've seen, is that those guys got caught up in the culture of poor training and a lack of mentality. And it was them versus everyone else that didn't have a badge. And unfortunately for the vast majority of police officers that are good, that put their lives on the line every day, that leave their families and risk not coming home, this kind of stuff brings, what is an imperfect perfection to the forefront. So all we can really do at this point, and then, like I said, I'm watching the news conferences on TV right now. All we can do at this point is fix it where we can and as fast as we can. That's all I can say on that one. And that'll be the limitations of my discourse. And that's not really a political thing. Listen, we all have police in our societies, and like I said, vast majority of everyone, ones that you run into are going to do their job. Black, white, Mexican, Chinese, Japanese, doesn't matter. If they're trained properly, they're doing it right. If they're trained poorly, it's like any other profession, unfortunately. You're going to get poor results. Poor training, just like in the military, results in catastrophic results. All right, so let me go ahead and say hi to the chat, because I didn't want to. I there's no way I could not address that. I mean, it is enveloped the day, so I couldn't really ignore it. But it is, like I said, I'm going to do my best not to let things like that dominate our little pop culture world here. Last night, okay, cool. Congratulations on that. All right, that's what I'm coming through. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Vincenzo B, I think this is the first time you've been here with me, so welcome to the lounge. All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure I was coming through clearly, because, like I said, StreamYard is just fucking with me. All right, so I answered that. How you doing, Mary? How you doing, Tehran? And the entire system needs to be torn down and rebuilt, and that'll never happen. I don't know if torn down and rebuilt is the necessary way, because there are aspects of policing that like I said, you don't hear about, that are fine. It's the mentality. It is the us versus them mentality that some police officers have, and like I said, that mentality, that's a culture. That's something you come into it with. And sometimes it's just a matter that can be ended at the hiring process. better screening. There's a whole bunch of things that you could put across the board that could make it to where when these problems come up, they are handled. Just like in the military. Listen, we got people in the military. There's a reason why we have Article 15s. There's a reason why we have Chapter 37s and Chapter 38s. Because even though we are held and we are trained at a high standard, these things, they're going to happen. We've had people, who've done things in the military. That's why we have the Universal Code of Military Justice to deal with things like that. So when these things happen, but see, in the Army, it's different because you don't have civilian law. We just apply the UCMJ right to you, and you end up doing, the consequences are grave. But when you're talking about, the police officers are still civilian enforcement in the microcosm of the people that are around them. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can fix. I refuse to watch the Titanic because I don't watch. It is. I don't recommend that you guys need to watch it. To be honest with you. It is very graphic, and you don't. It's not gonna. The only people who need to see that at this point now are the jury of those officers' peers. And like I said, what I'm seeing right now, as far as what I've heard all day and the processes that have been followed leading up to this, it's in good hands at this point. I mean, the judicial system will handle those guys from this point. How you doing, Fourth? All right, so I can't remember what happened last time. Well, damn right. Okay, you know what? Can I time you out? No. Listen, Ride the Lightning has some really good songs, but it's just hit after hit off of Injustice for All is just like I could just keep it on play. I can't do that with Ride the Lightning. Not anymore. I mean, I was a kid, I could. All right. What's the food in the background? Actually, Clint, I know you're in here. I know you'll appreciate this. This is I usually get loaded fries, but these are pastrami fries from Sister Kim's. If you're ever in Vegas and you're visiting me at the Sci-Fi Center, even if I gotta walk you down there by your hand, you must stop by Sister Kim's kitchen. Seafood, soul food. They got loaded fries. Tomorrow I'll have loaded fries. They got pastrami sandwiches, pastrami bacon burgers. I literally have to walk, do a couple extra steps just to burn off what I know I'm going to be gaining. I don't know if this is the best way to show it to you because I've already eaten some of it, but you can see the pastrami in there. I've gotten a lot of all the shrimp is gone. Green onions. Oh my goodness. It's there are shitty days that I know are going to end with Sister Kim's food. And then I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can make it through the day. So yeah, that's what that is. And we're gonna actually do some shows from Sister Kim's kitchen too, by the way, because it's a great place. All right, so you guys are saying no bass, William? What do you mean no bass? Are you saying that am I reading that right? That Injustice for All has no bass? Oh no. You need to go ahead and listen to that. Yes, it does, and it tastes good too. All right, what's going on here? So, yes, I do. I'm getting text from all over my screen now. Yes, it is. It looks tasty. It is tasty. Like I said, I wish there was a way you could taste it from here, but can't. Yeah, Darcipio. Yeah, they are tasty. No, actually their food is they know my dietary concerns as far as pork and grease and all that. And she'll make it. Sister Kim, her name is Kim, and she'll make it, if you tell her, hey, I have I would like to I'm cutting down on this and that, she'll make it for you. And she even has Impossible veggie burgers and stuff that, you can eat healthy there. And obviously anything in moderation. I'm not gonna eat this for every meal, but like I said, there are certain days where I feel like I'm owed a fat burger or Sister Kim's, and I indulge myself. So, all right. I think somebody. All right. So, hold on. By the way, I'm holding this belt because for no other reason. Yeah, we are talking a little bit of wrestling, but we're not talking this type of wrestling. We're talking WWE, even though the WWE has had a bastardized version of this belt. This is a version. This is a facsimile of the belt that Ric Flair wore. This is what this belt would have looked like on February of 1986 when David Crockett first gave Ric Flair this belt. There's no WWE logo on it. It's not 3D. It's etched in. It's engraved just like his is. It's got his name on it. If you can see that, Ric Flair. It's got it's done. It's textured the same way. I love this belt. All right, it is one of my, like I said before. You see all the belts behind me here. This belt right here, I could be having the shittiest day. My team lost something, things didn't go right. One of those Monday days. All I got to do is look over and see this sitting there, and it just makes me happy. It's like an endorphin. It's a drug I don't have to inject. It's like Starbucks I don't have to buy. So I just felt like holding it. And plus, the owner of this network, he's so cute with his little baby belt. He keeps bringing it out. So I felt compelled to bring out the manly belt. Nah, I'm just kidding. Enoch has a WWF not Big Gold, a Winged Eagle that I'm going to get one of those made and get one of those in a couple months. I'm going to trade one of my belts in for one, so because that's one of my bucket lists. This Ric Flair's belt and that Winged Eagle belt are the two belts I grew up with. It's the belt that Bret Hart held. It's the belt that the Ultimate Warrior kept changing the straps on. But this one right here, like I said, you guys see it in my profile pics one way or another all the time. And like I said, I just feel the need to bring it out every now and then. And I just love having it around. I mean, it's literally one of my favorite possessions of anything I own. Pop figure, toy, anything. It's just like I said, the house can be empty as long as I have this sitting on the. And pretty soon, when we do when I reverse the setup so that I have like a John Campia type setup, these belts are going to sit in the forefront. It's going to be kick ass. All right, so can you comment about Viola Davis and Daniel Deadweiler being snubbed at option? All right, so we brought this up the other night, and we brought up all the the actors and stuff, and we got this question over and over again when it came to how you feel about this actor being subbed, and then I looked at it, and in many cases, it's really tough because you have to eliminate somebody. All right, so let's look at So we're talking for Best Actress, right? So let's Best Actress. So the nominees for Best Actress are Kate Blanchett for Tar. You're not going to move her. Michelle Yeoh for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. You're not going to move her. Michelle Williams for Favorman. That's a tough one to move. Andrea Riseborough. Now this is to Leslie. This is one I didn't hear about as much before, and I haven't seen this movie. And I guess there's some controversy about her her campaign to get nominated. Something may have been done. And then, as much as I love her from Blade Runner 2049 and other stuff, Anna de Armas for Blonde. Blonde was a horrible movie. I'm sorry. Whether it was an accurate portrayal, I couldn't watch that movie for more than 10 minutes at a time. It took me forever to get through Blondes. Her performance is fine, but there's just not much to it to where I would make. So if I was going to remove two people, it would be Andrea Riseborough and Anna de Armas, and then I would put those two in it. I don't know as much about Daniel Deadweiler, but I did see Woman Queen, and Viola Davis does deliver an Academy Award winning performance. Now, I don't know if the Academy was going for historical accuracy, because if you're going for historical accuracy, then Woman Queen has some issues as far as some things that were excluded. I'll leave it at that. But if I were going to remove two of them, it would be those two. And that's just because I don't think I was really surprised to see Anna Damraz. I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I don't get opportunity to pronounce her name I call her Joy when I'm referring to her in my favorite movie. So it's and a deer mouse. Okay, a monster. All right, but yeah, those would be the two I would remove if it were me. But like I said, the Academy is weird. So, but there's 3 on there that are rock solid that I would not touch. But there's 2 that are like iffy. So that's how I feel about that. But when it comes to the Academy Awards process, I will tell you outright. I grew up watching the Academy Awards, and there's always been issues. They're disconnected from the rest of society, and I think they wear that as a badge of honor sometimes. Very rarely has the best movie, in my opinion, won best movie. I can count maybe 6 or 7 times in my lifetime where a clear cut best movie won best movie, and then one year Shakespeare in Love won. I literally choked on whatever the fuck I was eating because that was bullshit. All right. Okay, Peter Rapp is defender. I am so ticked about that. Yeah, the whole country is ticked about that. It is, man. And then like I said, I did a advertisement on them. I did a, when they were just opening up. And I'm gonna do one of me. It was me going in and getting my loaded fries, and I sped it up and added Ric Flair's theme song music to it. So yeah, I love that place. If I inhale the smell of food, I gave. Yeah, well, like I said, I'll go running around in a couple circles and sweat it off. Maybe I'll just carry my belt around. It'll be heavy enough. Yeah, the shrimp point. Yeah, Clint works with me at the Sci-Fi Center. He loves that place too. Every time I come in, I open up the trash can lid and I see that another shrimp poor boy has gone down the gullet. But yeah, the shrimp poor boy is good. They have a shrimp and fish combination, and she's got her own. It's just great food, man. Like I said, I hate teasing you guys. Some of you guys are thousands of miles away. If you do come to Vegas, I will. We have to go down there. I cannot let you leave this town without tasting that food. That's not necessarily true. All right. That's not necessary. I understand what a lot of people say that. All right. So I don't, what's the word? It just doesn't have the same pitch as some of the other albums do, but it's there. It drives you listen to Harvester of Sorrow, you hear the bass there. It's a different pitch and it's not as overproduced as some of their later stuff is. There's bass there. I mean, but when you listen to when you listen to the title track for like I said, I always hear this. I hear it though. I've heard this from, you're not the first one. I hear the bass. A lot of times, I think when people say that though, when I listen to that album, I'm hearing the bass and it's being overpowered by the drums and the guitar. But that's that's the nature of the album. Not every song could be God That Failed where the bass drives the thing. The drum work on Injustice for All is overpowers the album, in my opinion. And it is Lars Ulrich's best drum work of all the albums that they've done. Justice for All is literally, but I hear that a lot. And I'm like, and I listen to it, I'm like, I hear the bass. It's a different pace and it's a different pitch, but I never got why people say that. But I mean, and I even Googled that. I'm like, you can't do an album without bass. Let me Google some of the memes. There's like a meme of that one. Didn't they said something about that. They addressed that. And yeah, somebody was making fun of me. All right, Rolling Stone. Here we go. All right, Metallica and Justice for All. What happened to the bass? This was August 2018. I remember I saw this. So, I was so in the dirt. Former Metallica bassist Jason Newsted said that's how he felt when his first full length with the group and Justice for All came out. I was so disappointed when I heard from the vinyl mix. I basically blocked it out, like people do with shit. Wow. The album, which turns 30 this year, actually it's older than that now, is Metallica's greatest masterwork. Its songs are lengthy, nuanced statements on political devolution, the title track, and The Eye of the Beholder, the atrocities of war, the single one. you see one in concert when they shoot off all that shit. It's great. And dealing with badly and difficult lives, Dyer's Eve, Harvester of Sorrow. The music is especially intricate with the deftly constructed movements and difficult time signature, well outside the usual rock and roll head bobbing beats. Quite an accomplishment for a bunch of guys from California in their mid 20s. Since its release, many of the tracks have become setlist staples. The fucking whole album of the group, and it is certified 8 times platinum, making it the second best-selling record of the band's catalog. The Black Album being number 1, actually. It's ranked high, so practically okay. So yet it has one flaw that has trailed it for the past 3 decades. It's practically no bass guitar. I can't explain how much grief I dealt with and still deal with over that record because Jason Newsted played bass on the album. By all accounts, though, he recorded for the album. What he recorded for the album is that it just was not audible on the finished LP. I hear it though, man. I guess I'm just listening for. I don't know. Jason is one hell of a bass player and just as producer. Fleming Rasmussen told Rolling Stone in 2016, "I'm probably one of the only people in the world, including Jason and Toby Wright, the assistant engineer, who heard the bass." No, I heard it. You're not alone. So what happened after the previous bassist, iconic, rest in peace, Cliff Burton, died in a bus accident in September 1986. Metallica pushed forward immediately. We decided that the smartest thing we could do was keep going. Drummer Lars Ulrich said. We laid Cliff to rest a week or 2 after the accident, and then there wasn't 5 minutes after that into the process because if we slowed down, we were afraid we were going to disappear into nothingness or go as far into the abyss, so far into the abyss we wouldn't be able to pull ourselves up. They reached out to a friend. Let's see, Fade to Black. I'm looking at there was a comment that they brought in. Okay, so the only song in the feature Newsted writing credit was Blackened, because that's the only one he wrote. I wrote the main riff on the bass. He remembered in Guitar World interview, I'm fucking around with this riff, and Blackened is good. All right, so yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying, it's overproduced out, but it's there. I hear it. Maybe I'm an alien from another planet, but I feel, especially when you play it on some of the best shit you have. Like when I'm at the store and I have my big speaker up, I can hear it. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I'm just a weirdo. All right, sorry about that. And Justice for All doesn't have any bass. It's not the bass worthiest of them, but it's there. I mean, and that even if he, let's say for argument's sake, it does. Didn't hurt the album once. It does not stop Justice for All from being the best Metallica album. All right, and you're one of those. All right. Every time I decide to go to Sister Kim's, it's either early or too late. Yeah, 11 to 9. Certain days, I think Thursdays it's 11 to 5. Some of their hours are weird because they're pastors. They actually run a church. Both he and she, Kim, and her husband David. They are pastors at a church. That's why they're closed on Sundays too, because a lot of their, believe it or not, a lot of their petitioners at their church don't eat meat. This is weird. But they are full-time pastors as well. So they run the church and they do everything else. And then I convinced them to move into our plaza because when we were doing our drive-ins outside in their parking lot, they drove by one day and just said, "Hey, you need a food truck?" And I'm like, "Sure." And that was a few years ago. And I convinced them once another restaurant moved out in our plaza, I got to have you guys here. And we convinced them to move in. And like I said, every day I'm at that plaza, I'm eating Sister Kim's food, boy. No, this is soda, regular soda. I mean, now if you like Pepsi's a great drink, but no, there's no signature drink. There are no liquor or anything like that. You better keep that belt in there when James Gunn announces his DCU. I'm not. Listen, I'm not gonna. The disappointment is already set in just the way things have been handled the last 9 years. All right, I mean, if James Gunn was the cause of all this, then it would be a different thing. The whole reason we have James Gunn is because of the mismanagement. Is because we had people say yes when they should have said no. We had people say yes to movies that ended up being good, but should have never released when they did. We had people that kept, Superman off the screen for 5 years. We had people who put Gleek and Jan and whatever the Wonder Twins ahead of a Batman movie. We had people who put Polka Dot Man ahead of a Superman movie. That's why we're here. I can be upset of the circumstances that might bring this about, but I can't really be mad at him. As far as his slate goes, after being in this business, around this business and comic book them for so long, it's going to come down to, if it doesn't interest me, I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of streams. Oh, I cannot believe he did that or not. If it doesn't interest me, I'm going to do like what the general audience has done with DC the last 5 years. I'm just going to quietly walk away. I'll answer questions about it, but you're not going to see a thumbnail with me with James Gunn's face crossed out. I'm not going to do it. I just don't have that energy anymore. That energy I was reserved for spending it on getting complete storylines from the previous people that are in DC. I wasted a lot of energy. I'm not going to waste any more energy if I don't like it. If it comes out and he puts enough information out there to where I can form an opinion, and I don't think it's for me, I'm just not going to watch it. All right, I'm just going to. I'm not going to get enraged. I'm not going to hate tweet. I'm not going to hate watch. I'm just going to tune out. I think we've proven on this show, time and time again, that we can talk other topics besides DC films. And if DC Films goes in the direction where it just doesn't interest me, I'll cover the basic nuts and bolts of it. Like, hey, this is getting released here. This did this did that. But it's not going to be, like I said, the difference between, prior to this whole announcement, like with the whole Cavill thing and that getting botched, and now is prior, I was at ringside with my belt and my street shirt and everything else. Now I'm still supporting it, but at arm's length. I'm watching that pay-per-view, but I'm not there in the arena. I'm at my house. And when you're at your house and something, doesn't appeal to you, I have gone ahead and created a magical device that when you aim it at your TV or the box or anywhere near, it takes that away. That thing that doesn't interest me, I push this up or down, or I type in any various of numbers, and that thing goes away. I'm going to get this patented. It's called a remote control, and I'm getting it trademarked right now. I think some people might have already beat me to it. I'm not sure. I'll find out Monday. But no, I'm not gonna punch walls. I'm not gonna even let my blood pressure get. I'll be disappointed if they go in a direction that I just don't feel like spending any more time with. But I'll move on. Like I said, the world has provided us with plenty of topics. So I hope, what he puts out is something that I can relate to and engage with, but if it's not, I'm just going to move on to different topics. I am going to do, as a hardcore fan, what the general audience does without ever getting on YouTube, without ever getting on Twitter, without even saying a word. I'm just going to walk away. Now, as far as the slate is to be revealed on Monday. And from what I heard, I don't know how true this is going to be doing a press event or with the trades. Now, regardless to what he has to put out, I don't think that's a good idea. First of all, I have no use for the trades. All right. They put out what they need to put out to keep their addictive people coming back to them for their crack. All right. This relationship, if he has it, and like I said, I'm gonna reiterate, the odds are not high. They're decent, but they're not in this new group's favor of success. All right. That's not me being a pessimist, but there are so many things, most of them that don't have anything to do with James Gunn, that are already built into this, and they already create a very greased uphill slope. All right. The reality that most reboots fail in general, and if this is a reboot, and like I said, that's something else we'll find out soon, then you're already putting yourself into the lower percentile of success. All right. The fact that the brand name and what was notable about the brand name and the things that you should give you the punch of having the brand name like Superman, Batman, etc., have been neglected and mismanaged for so long that you now have to spend a lot of your capital in rebuilding that. Now, is it impossible? No. I'm thinking 40-60. But you know what else is 40-60? The odds of me owning a business and staying in business as long as I have, the odds are probably 30-70. So just because something is bad odds doesn't mean you can't overcome them. His odds are not insurmountable. I just think that the degree of difficulty that they have put themselves in and the way that it has been handled, along with some other built-in things, doesn't give him favorable odds of success. That doesn't mean he cannot overcome those. But one of the things I really would have liked for them to do is when they make their first impression, when they give that first thing out, cut through all the bullshit. All right. Don't be talking to YouTubers and Twitter heads and pundits and goofballs in trades. All right. That is not what's going to make or break this. I know we in YouTube and Twitter think that we are the audience. We are not. We are a very small percentile of the audience. All right. The trades are not the audience. They're not at all. All right. The audience is the main general audience. Your first words need to be directly to them. Push the trades out of the way. Push the inflated YouTuber heads out of the way. Push the Twitter heads out of the way. And you need to be talking directly through the 95 to 97% that are going to make or break this. It is the general audience, the Joe average, not the geek fool with the Shazam shirt on or the guy who's screaming about everything on YouTube. All right. It is the general audience leaving DC is what's hurt DC. So like it or not, most DC fans have pretty much seen every DC movie that's been released. All right. We have that dedication. All right. So you don't have to worry about us. A YouTuber, who fucking cares? All right. We're 3 or 4%. If at our best, no matter how many people use YouTube. Twitter's even less. All right. Your general audience, even if they go to all those things, they're not on them as much as we are. You need to push through the brush and talk to your first words about whatever you're going to release needs to be directly to them. So this should not be a press only event. That's fucking that would be come on. I mean, if these odds are going to go from 40 to 60 to 50 or up, in my opinion, James Gunn needs to be to DC Studios what Steve Jobs was to Apple. All right. When Steve Jobs put stuff out, he didn't give it to a trade or some other third party. He didn't rely on YouTubers and Twitter heads. He got up on a stage, and wherever the hell it was that he wanted you to know about, he had it in his hands. And it was being live streamed to everybody. Everybody saw that. All right. And I think that's what needs to happen on Monday or Tuesday, whenever this gets released. And I think it needs to be impressive. I don't think these need to be just little announcements and all that. Whatever it is, he's announcing, however big it is. The first thing that you hear from James Gunn needs to be from him to the audience, directly, not to the press, not to the pundits, directly to the 95% that are going to make or break this adventure. All right. And if it were me, I would have done a DC Fandom special. I don't care if it's 15 minutes, but all 15 minutes is James Gunn talking directly to the fans. And I would have made it available everywhere, and I would have advertised it everywhere. You know what? I mean, Warner Brothers owns networks. That shit's gonna be, I mean, they own CNN, they own TNT, they own TBS. Somehow, some way throughout that date, I have a small thing that, you put in, through one of the movies, or you eliminate one of the, it's like a paid advertising, you don't have to pay for. You put that information out to the general audience. All right. The YouTubers are not going to drive the industry. Twitter does not drive the industry. Hardcore fanboys do not drive the industry. Those Joe Average, who doesn't say shit to anybody, who doesn't get on and slap at the keys and take shots at everything from the safety of his keyboard, those people are not the backbone of this industry. All right. The average moviegoer is. And I think that whatever happens Monday should be explosive and newsworthy. I don't care if we're announcing Crypto the Dog movie. Whatever it is you have to say on Monday, it needs to be aimed at the majority of the people where the money is going to come from. And it ain't us. All right. And it needs to be impressive because guess what? You are never going to get another first time to speak to your audience in this manner. All right. There's been a lot of tweeting back and forth and a lot of that stuff. But when it comes to the general audience finding out and buying into what you're doing, there's reasons why they call them first impressions and why they're so important. All right. So if this is like a limited press event, I think that's a mistake. All right. I think that whatever it is he's got to put, whether I agree with it or not, your sales pitch needs to be the first sales pitch you ever make. Needs to be to the general audience on all those platforms I've just mentioned. And then let the trades report to it on that. You know what? But speaking to your general audience through the trades is bullshit because, to be honest with you, I don't know too many people who read Variety Magazine. I don't know anybody who reads that, all these other things like that. The majority of people, especially the ones I send to the movies, don't read those things. But those are the people that are going to make this or break this. All right? Your first words that you utter to the general public as DC studio head should be to them. And it needs to be look impressive, sound impressive. And I heard some people, we need to wait till Comic-Con. Fuck Comic-Con as far as that goes. Comic-Con is 6 months away, for one. You ain't got that kind of time. You need to strike while the iron's hot. Whether you're releasing a movie in 2 years, your primer, your excitement train leaves the station. It should have already left the station, but it damn sure is going to leave that station on Monday or Tuesday. All right. And when it comes to Comic-Con, most people don't even get into Comic-Con. And the stuff that they released in Comic-Con doesn't necessarily get to the general public. It gets to the hardcore geeks that could afford to sit around for 4 days and get in there or travel all over the world. The other 99.9% of the population doesn't see the things that come out on Comic-Con. They get it trickled through, trailers like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but you need no exclusive audiences. All right. Get whatever you have to say Monday needs to be available to every man, woman, and child that is interested in it or that you think is going to be interested in it. And you own 3 television networks and 2 news networks. All right. You're saying these are your most valuable IPs and you're prioritizing these. Okay, let's prioritize them. All right. I need when I turn on CNN or HN or Headline News because there's another one they got or something. I need to be seeing commercials and stuff, broken down to what's coming next. If this means as much to you, you need to be talking to the masses, not the little small screen heads. All right, not Variety. Because I don't want anything twisted through any of these outlets. I want to hear it from you as it's happening, and then we can all report on that. So I think that, I think they're missing an opportunity to make a huge splash. Like I said, 40-60. That's his odds. Those are still high odds, and he still could succeed. But the packaging and the way you handle things increases those odds. If it's handled poorly or opportunities are missed, then you're going down from 40. Because there's no guarantee that with James Gunn, everybody thinks that everything is going to be accepted and well liked and it's going to be successful out of the door just because we're doing something new. That's called recency bias. All right. Generally, it doesn't work that way. You need time. But like I said, I think that when this gets released, I think it should have been something big, something special, and it needed to be directly to the people who are going to make a difference in this. So that's just where I feel. So no, but I'm not going to be mad as far as the content goes. Like I said, it is what it is. I don't need James Gunn to do exactly what I want. I just need him to outdo what I was taking away. If you're going to tell me to get over this and let go of this, then you fucking better give me something better than what you're taking away. I told you, I'm like that dog. I got my trusty chew toy. You try to take that chew toy away from me, I'm going to bite your finger off. But if you come to me with a nice, shiny, squeaky toy, a brand new thing that's not mangy and gnawed on and chewed on, and you throw that down to me, I'm going to drop that mangy chew toy, and I'm going to come over and I'm going to grab that squeaky toy. But that hasn't happened. You had something taken away, and you didn't have something better put in its place. That's called bad management. All right, so no, yeah, I'll be fine, Forth. All right, how you doing, Daniel? I keep trying to sell his belts for $5, but no one shows up to buy it. Yeah, and that's why I took all my belts out of the store, Clint, because I know what you're up to, buddy. What's going on? You just need a robe with fur on it. Ric Flair's robes cost like $10,000 minimum. He has one. I was watching this documentary. That boy had 3 or 4 of them bad boys that were 20,000, and some of them went for auction. And I'm like, ooh. I mean, maybe if Megabucks happens, I win some, serious money. If I ever won Megabucks or got some serious millions behind me, oh my, I'd have like a damn wrestling shrine. My bedroom would literally be the wrestling ring with a bed in the middle of it. But yeah. I had a borrowed a wig. Somebody had a wig. I dressed it for Halloween. This is before I had this belt as Ric Flair. It's hilarious. Wow, dude, that's messed up. William, you don't look at Coco Beware. Look like Coco Beware or the Junkyard Dog. Are you Pop and Shanta or the Great Kamala? Nah, I'd like to be more Bobby Lashley, being ripped up and 47 years old, looking like he does. Andrea Riseborough is really controversial. Yeah, because of that campaign. She could be rules ineligible. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they're seriously talking about that. Anna Diarmaz has no business being nominated for Blonde. Period. Yeah, I'm sorry, and I like her too, but that movie was like that movie just does not move me, and her performance in it didn't move me. Blonde was god awful. Yeah, it was really bad. And I had a lot of when I was hearing about it. I'm like, this is good, and I like her as an actress, and I'm like, about 5 minutes into it, I'm like, this is going to take me a while to get through. All right, Peter Rabbit Suspender. I've never heard of her. Oh, Anna Diarmaz. Okay, she played in a lot of different things. Batfleck's girlfriend. Yeah. Ben Affleck. Oh, poor Ben Affleck. Broke up with Anna Diarmaz and ended up with J-Lo. Wow. Wonder if you're gonna be okay. Son of a bitch. Blonde in a nutshell. Hello, Daddy. Daddy, can I be free? Daddy, can I be me, Daddy? Yeah, and that Kennedy scene, the Kennedy brothers scene in Blonde, it's just outright creepy, man. Outright creepy. The way it's filmed, the way it's like, what are we doing here? And the nudity in it I didn't think it was placed right. It's just her walking around and running around high on drugs. I mean, covered in blood half the time. I'm like, what? Is this some Rob Zombie esque stuff? I mean, without the actual good movie. All right, Netflix did very hard campaigning for and that show. Yeah, they you know what? Regardless to how I feel about it, their campaign worked because she got nominated, and I'm like, what? She's better in the limited time she's in Blade Runner 2049 than she is in this whole movie, and she's a star in it. So, yeah, it was a really good movie. All right, it's Armaz. Yeah, I used to be able to pronounce it right. I know around Blade Runner 2049 because I loved her in Blade Runner 2049. I love the concept of her character, Joy. I love the fact that she's an evolving holographic program, and you're forced to wonder whether she is just doing what her program dictates or is she evolving. And you're never given that answer, and I love that movie for it. What's your thoughts on William Dafoe being the new Nosferatu movie? He was in the Shadow of the Vampire. He's perfect. William Dafoe looks like somebody that you would open up a coffin and it's like there's William Dafoe. But no, I think that's cool. I think that's kind of cool that he was in Shadow of the Vampire, and now he's in this movie. So yeah, I have no problem with it. Oh, was she in that too? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Ooh, one thing about I get acute heartburn, and these pastrami fries are gonna burn a hole through my chest and probably this belt. But hey, it's all good. All right, what up, everybody? Hello, William, Daniel. How you doing, Larry? All right, Peter Rabbit's Defender. Yeah, that means nothing to me. All right. Everybody saying hello. Everybody wave to everybody. Just saw Infinity Pool. I have not seen that. Is it insane as in Terrifier strange, or like violent Violent Night strange, or insane? Let me know. I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it, but I'm kind of wondering. I'm 1,600 miles away. Yeah, man. That's right. You're in Ohio. How we been forth? I'm calling it the Darmaz effect. It's when you're watching a movie that you hear is Oscar worthy, but you feel something's wrong with you for not liking it till you find out the world feels the same. I watched it before it was nominated. I thought it might. I mean, anytime you do a biopic like that, like Austin, what's his face? It's for Elvis. He did an excellent job. He's probably going to win for that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I watched it before the Oscar buzz came in, so I was like, you know what, dude? I obviously I can't play it here because we'll really get copyright struck. You know how he is. I feel the bass, and but even still, like I said, I feel it. But so that makes it even a greater album, Darth, because that means they did one of the greatest albums of all time, short one instrument, according to you guys. Even though I disagree, I feel the bass in there, but All right. Compared to Possession, is Infinity Pool more gruesome, right? Oh, jeez. All right. Sounds like a crazy loop. Doing well recovering from this movie. Oh, wow. Is that fucked up? Jeez. Definitely more fucked up than Possessor and maybe a little bit less violent. I haven't seen Possessors. Which movie? Just saw Blonde. No. Sorry. If you had to watch Blonde or have COVID, I'm going to watch Blonde. COVID killed 1 million people. Blonde just wasted a couple hours of my time. No, don't say that. Blonde, Atomic Blonde. Oh, no, Atomic Blonde is a superior movie. That needs a sequel. The mixture of Justice said Lars' fault. Justice has no bass. The bass and rhythm guitar are set to the same beat. Damn. You know what? Does Twitch allow you to play music without getting a copyright strike? Anybody know? Because I'm like, when I hear this, I'm like, dude, let me pull up. Let me pull up blocking, but then I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to get sued. Because I think we should be listening to some of this music to really, to really discuss this because we're, because I guess I grew up with no problem with it, but it's just me. What is Blonde? It's on Netflix. Look it up. High or drunk to see it. Okay. Now I just want to see Blonde for mere morbid curiosity. Yeah, and pornographic curiosity because that's basically what it is for a little bit. William, there's a version online where you can hear the bass boosted. You also got to realize I was listening to I was listening to mixtapes too, so who knows how that. And then, like I said, I've seen him in concert 3 times, so it's like you damn sure hear it when you're there. But I didn't start hearing about this until later in life. And like I said, I think 5 years ago or so, people were bringing this up, and I'm like, I never. And all Metallica heads that I hang around, I mean, they never brought that up, but then now I'm seeing it's very, very prevalent. Now I'll go see Atomic Blonde. It's better. I'll agree there. I will agree, and I'm glad that the times that I saw him, he was there all 3 times. Because I really think he's one of the most underrated bass players, and he's not. Is he the greatest bass player of all time? I don't know, but he fit where they were at that time. The only other person that was a better fit was the person he replaced, and Cliff Burton. Yeah. Peter, I was really high and I was quite on the trip. I highly recommend it if you like Possessor. Have you seen Antiviral too? Oh, I haven't. I'm so behind. Oh no, let's not do that. Maybe I am. Maybe this is like They Live and all these things that were on the screen are just telling you to consume. All right.
Well, both of those guys could use the Force, so but Darth Maul wasn't as good a Force user as as Darth Vader was. But they both ended up dying too, so it's not like they're immortal. Am I wrench worthy on this side? You should be. You're an admin, right? Still. Oh, Stella, before the show tomorrow, I'll walk you through on how to get in. It's the same way you did before. You're just going to use that email that I sent you, and then it's going to give me the what you need, and I'll send that to you. So I remember how we did it last time. But yeah, you should still be an admin here. I hope you are an admin, so when bots come through. All right. Ooh, no, let's not do that. Yeah, Crazy Joe. Respect the guy, but I just his opinions on some things are just literally crazy. And he could very well want the Wonder Twins, and he would be one of the 18 people that would have gone and seen it. And that's what I mean. Shit like that's getting thought about before another Superman movie was. That's just fucking dumb. It's a basic trailer. I thought it was pretty solid. Like I said, I hated that song. I hated the Drake song that they used in it, and I need them to stop using hip hop for superhero movies that don't have it in the soundtrack. Whew, all right. Well, that's superhero movies for you. Blonde is a movie about Marilyn Monroe, the last days of Marilyn Monroe, and it stars Anna de Armas. He looks to play a more serious tone in this one. So, like I said, I just think the placement of some of these movies is bad. No, man, I don't want to go that rabbit hole. Vader versus Batman was good enough. I love the one Superman on. I haven't seen it over 10 times. Let's see. Lucy Liu's line may have been the worst in Batman. What have you done? Line. Oh, when he was talking to the Riddler. That's the kind of same line that Kristen Bell's Batman said when he was trying to figure out, where what's his face had hit what's her face in Harvey Dent. I mean, I liked him in Chuck, but outside that, I haven't seen Levi much. I really haven't seen him in a lot either, and I didn't watch Chuck. It's about Marilyn Monroe, based on a fictional book about Marilyn Monroe, and it's just it's just bad. It does her no justice, and it's on Netflix. Take my advice, don't watch it, unless you just want to see Anna de Armas' boobs. And you can see those in several movies because she's showing them a lot. Shows them in Blade Runner. So, but if that's really the only significant thing that made it, people were like, "Oh, it's such graphic nudity and this and blood and drug use and all." It's mild shit. It just wasn't that great. Solid. I gave it a solid. Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, and like I said, I don't want to. I understand you guys have the right to ask the question because it's a big news story, and this is something that could affect us all. I expressed how I think it's being handled, what should happen to those guys, and I answered the questions about how is it that 5 black cops can do this to another person of color, and I went into detail about sometimes it's about a culture of us versus them, and as you being former military, I don't know what your MOS was or where you were at, but I'm pretty sure you knew infantrymen and people that were beyond the wire who, at some point, sometimes would develop an us versus them, even though they were, Iraqis were supposed to be our allies. And same thing throughout military history, going back to Vietnam. Once you become part of an organization, if you are not properly trained, this is not everybody, this is like 1%, if that much. If you are not properly trained, then that type of culture, it's like a fungus. You develop a wall around you and them when it's supposed to be you for them. So yeah, we addressed it earlier on. Like I said, I didn't I felt the need to, to answer because literally, like I said, as the show was starting, it's on my news. I'm seeing the news conferences. I saw the video today. But as right now, the thing I can be happy about is, it took some awful things happening, but there is measures of accountability. 20, 30 years ago, the guys, Derek Chauvin in Minnesota would not have even been brought on charges. Now he's serving 20 to 40. Stuff like this. Ahmaud Arbery. There are things that are awful things that just make you want to punch your hole through a screen. But as we go on, like I said, it's awful as things can be sometimes. We're not in my dad's generation. We're not in my grandfather's generation. If these same things would have happened to their generation, it wouldn't have made it on the news. There would have been no arrest and there would have been no trial. So we are making progress in how we handle those things. It's not perfect. And at sometimes it's awful, but you have to look at the big picture and stay aggressive in fixing things. Don't just think that these things are going to age away. As long as we stay aggressive and accountability, and the Memphis police and the Memphis government, the city government and state government, Memphis Bureau of Investigation, as long as they are handling it and holding people accountable, we just got to keep our foot on that pedal and to make it so that it happens less and less. All right, let's see. What's up, everyone? Hello, Bev. I saw your video today. When you're in your Amazon things, I guess just waiting to be loaded up. So how is that job, Amazon? Is that as hard as, I know some people who work for Amazon warehouse here in Vegas, and they tell me it's hard as fuck, man. They tell me that the money is good, the benefits good, but it's like running you into the ground head first. Let me know. Not that I'm going to go work for Amazon, but I'm just curious. Okay, I love the Batman. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Damien? Don't attack the Batman. Bell Redmond, it's about the cops thing. William already covered it. All right, how about it's been a while? It's GZ last night. Oh, for you. Okay. You should patent this device, William. What device is this? What did I miss? Or what did I forget? What device? I'm sorry you like that movie, Mary. Just joking. Batman's actually my favorite overall Batman movie. Oh, well, I guess I missed it. Yeah, it's just pretty much that in a nutshell. I mean, like I said, I was literally, we started an hour and 8 minutes ago, and while that was going on, they were replaying the footage. They were replaying the news conferences, and like I said, it's been all over the news today. Like I try to provide in this space for people a place to get away from a lot of the stuff that's going on, but some things just had to be addressed, and then I addressed it, and I moved on there. So, me too. I'm thinking minimum 20 to 40, minimum 20. They need to do the 40, but if they are convicted, and they do, have a right to, they have a Fourth Amendment right to a fair trial. So we're going to let that process work itself through. Yep, it's all part of the crazy world we live in, Larry. We should all send Belle Rev Mendez to see the bad DCU movies and let her report back to us. I can tell you how that report's gonna be a lot of F-bombs in that report. That is going to be the NSFW Bell reporting on DC, especially if they're bad. Oh my goodness, I would watch that. I don't drink, and I would play a drinking game to it. How many times she drops that bomb on that show? Yeah, they make cops look bad. It's sad because that's one of the things I addressed before. The vast majority of the cops that you ever run into your life are the people who, if you call 911, they're going to run into whatever unknown bullshit situation that you have, risking their lives to save you. That is the vast majority of police officers. But on the flip side of it, and when these things do happen, it's incumbent of not only on the good cops to make these things accountable, but for the good cops. Because if you're running out, leaving your family every day with the risk of not coming back, and you got some shitheads doing this, that makes your job harder and that much more dangerous. So, like I said, this the system has a hold of the situation, and I think we're going to get accountability there. one on speed dial. I have it on speed dial. Like I said, if you haven't seen it and you're not going to be on that jury, I recommend you don't watch it. It's going to make you angry. Me and my BF like to go to the movie theater. It's our thing, so it's hard not to go see DC films. Yeah, those reviews are going to be great. I'll watch your out of the theater reviews on any movie. Plus, I like watching all DC films because I got to talk about it for you guys. Yeah, that's going to be the hardest thing is if I'm disinterested in whatever comes out, just to keep up the news. You guys are not, I'm not going to be escape doing these shows without, talking about it. I'm just not going to be like gung ho about it. That's all. Sorry, guys, got to go a long day. I'm barely trying not to fall asleep later. All right, I feel you, Mary. Thanks for stopping by. Or Nancy Pelosi's husband getting hit in the kick. Yeah, that all on the same day, by the way. That crazy fool. I mean, taking a hammer to an 82-year-old man's head. I mean, the cops got all over his ass, though. They were in shock. That he even took the song with them standing there. But it's been a crazy day of news footage, guys. What if Shazam changes the hierarchy of the DC universe? Who knows? It very well could. Bye, Mary. Bell said she would take a nightmare timeline featuring Shazam in the place of Superman. You know what? It might be. If I could finish a nightmare timeline, fuck, I'd take it. All right, never. There's going to be a new Titanic remaster. Okay, you lost me at Titanic. Sorry. It's a chick flick, man. A chick flick done by James Cameron when he sold out. There's going to be a new Titanic remastered with HRFDD for. Okay, so I haven't seen Avatar: Way of the Water yet, and I never want to see Titanic again. I appreciate Titanic for the special effects splendor that it is. I mean, that ship sinking is beautiful, but the story is like, come on, man. Do we have to make a romance out of everything? All right. Does it have to end up with two people fucking all the time? Meeting out of nowhere? Oh, there's historic tragedy. Let's go bang in the bowels of this ship. I just fucking met you on a ship with a whole bunch of strangers. Let's do it. Total stranger. You know what? I'm gonna take off all my clothes. Draw me. All right. I mean, come on. All right. That's just show me the ship sinking. I can watch that on a documentary. But like I said, special effects wise, Titanic was beautiful because they recreated the point in history. But as far as like that, the romance and the story and oh Jack, I'll die without you. Yeah, he meant so much to you that you couldn't get him on that door, and he froze to death, and you just let him go like an icicle. How romantic! But no, Peter Rabbit. I will. Yeah, that's great. Titanic. That hasn't made enough money. Jeez, they just keep releasing these movies. What is he? He need $3 billion now? Jeez, come on. Shazam's plush muscles look better than Cavill's muscles. See now Fourth has reached his troll stage, but he's not trolling me. He's trolling Bev. Drop some F-bombs on him, Bev. Or I just could never buy into Zachary Levi's Shazam. That's one of my biggest hangups. A lot of people couldn't. Especially that version of Shazam where he's a kid-like, because there's certain versions to where he has the wisdom of Solomon, so he's not necessarily acting like a kid when he's transformed into Shazam. So the Snyderverse has eventually been sent to the Phantom Zone, like Zod said. You wouldn't sully your hands, but you'll damn us to a black hole. I don't know, man. But you know what about the Phantom Zone, Damien? They got out. So we have hope. There you go. Nah, that aged poorly. Yeah, it did. If it was early 2000, it would have been Brandon Malala Shazam. Oh, Lord. Actually, the last good DC movie I watched was Super Pets. How odd is that? Yeah, that's not good. Yep, Integrity's not here today, but there you guys go. There, Integrity. There you go. You're here in spirit. I would have to. I would love to know would have been if John Cena getting cast as Shazam. At that point of his career, he not good because he's getting better with each role, but he just wasn't there 5 years ago. He's just now getting to the point where he's starting, to get the craft, and you start to see him flesh out as actor. But I don't know if that would have been a good thing 5 years ago. Bell, that's pretty good. I don't know how he is acting wise, but he looks ripped right out of the comics and animation. I still need to watch that. When did Batwolves come out? Oh Lord. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Don't remind me of that. He would have been perfect, better than Levi. Super Pets was amazing, by the way, and I felt bad that Dwayne Johnson is no longer with DC anymore for now. Who knows? Hello, Slipknot. Larry Clark, what's up, Larry? I almost forgot that I put on the thumbnail why Appetite of Destruction was one of the best albums of the '80s, probably one of the greatest albums of all time. But it always ends up back to Master of Puppet or Metallica, but like I said, I was going to talk about like one of the a lot of people during the '80s didn't get a chance to listen to all the songs from that album, and like I said, even though the album is pretty much about drugs and prostitution and heroin, like song after song after song, still a classic. So I'll probably jump into that tomorrow. We seem to talk along worse on music when it is the overnight show or the long form overnight show. So, I see the Fast and Furious movies, and it's about family. Putty from Seinfeld would have been wow, dude. Tick. I remember the Tick. Spoon. Love the Tick. Every version. Yeah, they were kind of goofy. We're getting used to we're getting used Chew toys leftovers from Marvel. Yeah, well, depending on what dog you are, that somebody's old Chew toys, somebody else's new one. Larry, that's right. I knew it was a superhero somewhere in his career. Well, sort of. I mean, Tick. Yeah, come on. We're getting used Chew toy. I can see some of RJ's bite marks on it. Oh wow, taking a shot at the troublemaker RJ. You hear that, RJ? I wish they never canceled Amazon Tick. Putty rules. Patrick Warburton's a Tick is my favorite Tick. Well, you're getting an Invincible too. Yeah, good version of Tuck. I think you made Tick. There you go. All right, let me start. Yeah, and like I said, it pissed me off. Once she broke up, whoever she was going out with and got divorced, I thought that was finally my chance at J-Lo. I'm like, she's done with that guy now. Get myself together, going to the gym, getting all ripped up. You know what? Gonna find some money somewhere, I guess. I don't know, rob a bank. And I was gonna make my move on J-Lo, and then bam. Here comes Ben back. I thought I was done with him. He comes back and takes another one of my women. Lord knows what effect he's had on Anna. I mean, so like I said, I was right there. She was available, and I knew it was going to be for me. No, Ben Affleck comes in. What does he have that I don't have? I think a couple of people in this chat have been engaged to J-Lo. Yeah, everybody but me. If it's a masterpiece, it changed the face of metal and influenced countless bands. What one are we talking about, Larry? Oh, you're talking. Okay, you guys are talking about the Dell. Blonde was actually critic rating of 42% and audience of 32%. How did it get nominated? Dude, there's a lot of movies that these people, I don't know. Like I said, we're starting to realize that it's the campaigns. And some of these vicious campaigns are what make or break the movie's Oscar chances, and I'm finding out. For all the wrong reasons. But like I said, you could see her. You could see more of her in a Blade Runner than you do in those scenes. It's like you don't have to watch that awful movie for that. All right, let's see. Speaking of vampires, I saw a Renfield trailer last night. That was really violent. Yeah, I'm interested in that. That had me peaked. Vincent Lisa, bad people that put Anna in the worst position got punishing Razzie. So, and she might, dude, if she walks away with an Oscar for that, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. That should be the end of the Oscars. They need to, if she walks away with an Oscar for that movie, they need to get rid of every voter. You guys are done. All right, so I am about an hour and 21 minutes. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. This was a all right. Fuck you, Clint. That's disgusting. I don't even want to envision myself in that manner. And now I'm going to have to go take something to get it out of my head. Asshole. All right, guys. So, yeah, that's it for tonight. This was just a cross between the Midnight Express and our overnight show. I didn't get a chance to do a 6:30 show today because I was busy with people. We were doing a movie promo. So tomorrow night at 9:30, we are going to go over all the week's topics. At that point, Royal Rumble will have happened, so we'll discuss that. I mean, I think it's kind of predictable who's going to win. We'll go into any music topic you guys want to. I will actually transfer my Guns N' Roses topic to tomorrow night because I'll probably have different guests, and I'll have more people on with me. I'll have Dave with me. I'll have Stella in the back room or up in front, and it's a lot easier to cover these topics when I can have them doing the chat. So, all right, guys, this has been the Semi Overnighter. Welcome to Saturday, January 28th, and I will see you in about 18 hours. See ya. Oh, just one last glimpse at to get that image that Clint put in my head. I'm gonna hold my belt tight. Just it makes all the bad things go away. All right, see you guys later.